Welcome back to my channel. So let's talk a little bit about updates, what's going on, and then I want to hear what's going on in your lives. So we have a cool but very sunny day here in Missouri. And if you watched my last video, I talked about putting this house on the market and heading out on an adventure. So put the house on the market and had 2 offers, and I accepted one of them. So it is under contract, and hopefully if all things go well, which I don't see why it wouldn't, the closing will be I think on the 21st next month. So that literally gives me like 4 weeks to get my act together here. So let's talk about some stuff. Now, if any of you have been interested in perhaps heading abroad, going to live in another country on like a temporary resident visa, something like that, or if you're at the point where you can retire, most of these places you have to apply at the consulate here in the country that you currently reside. So that would mean for me, that's the United States. So Mexico, obviously, if I want to go down there, I've got to go and apply for that at the consulate. And of course, that's, not something that just happens in 2 days. That can take months, depending on when you can get in for your appointment. And I've been thinking about, maybe Portugal or Spain. There's just a couple of different options. I want to keep my options open on this. So I'm going to go to Florida and hang out with my brother and his family for a little bit. So I've just got to find, some short-term housing down there, and pretty much just going to get rid of everything here in the house and take as little as possible, and then just pack up the cats and we'll just go off on an adventure. And yes, I know it's going to be hot and humid down there. That's how it is here in southeast Missouri in the summertime. No, I do not like that. But Florida and South Dakota, I believe, those are 2 of the easiest states to get your what they call domicile in if you plan on living outside of the country. And Florida is probably the easiest one. Now, the other cool thing about Florida is, unlike here in Missouri, they don't have state income tax. They do not have personal property tax on your vehicles. And I also don't think they tax your retirement stuff. And I don't think they tax your investments like dividends. I'll have to double check on that. But it's a pretty easy process, and there's a couple of places I found online that do all of that stuff for you. They get you set up with one of those mailboxes, which is an actual address, so you can utilize that. And I think you can get your driver's license in Florida within a day of being there. It's super easy, and there's no requirement to come back. If you're abroad, that you have to come back and stay in that state, for any length of time. There's no requirement for that. So that's probably what I'm going to do, and just have that residence in Florida. Oh, Mozart's coming to say hello. Hi, Mozart. So that's the update on that. And of course, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff over the last several months. I've been decluttering, but of course I still have a house full of things, and I have to be very strict with myself and just learn to let those things go. There's going to be very minimal things that I keep with me. Photos I will take with me for now, and just a couple of little pieces of crystal that I really like. And if I decided to go overseas, I can totally take those things with me, or I can ship them with me if I really want them. And that wouldn't, be that expensive. But just lots of moving parts, lots of things I have to think about here. And I just got to do a little bit every single day to, keep track with that. Now, the thing too with investing and having your dividends, we've talked about that in the past too. So I'd be interested to know if any of you that had not done that before, if you've done any research, if you've looked into that, if you've decided to do that, how's it going for you? And yes, the stock market was not very good last week, but the cool thing about the dividends is you still get the dividends. These companies that I invest in normally don't lower those dividends because of that. They've all got really good track records. There's just a couple of high volatility ones I have in there, and that's just for some growth because you want to have it kind of mixed up and balanced, and it's just your comfort level. So I've been rolling with that, having fun with that, and yeah, so just got to figure out all the logistics of this stuff and see how that's all going to pan out. Hi, Mozart. And he's such a sweet cat. And see how everything else is going. So what's going on in your neck of the woods? What are you guys up to? Anybody else put any plans in motion to get the hell out of Dodge for a while? Anybody else thinking about places overseas or just moving to a different location or anything like that? I'd love to hear from you, see what's going on. I did have a couple of comments about, hey, don't move to Mexico, it's dangerous. And I don't know what these people are reading. I mean, every place in the world you go to, there's going to be some level of danger. It doesn't matter. But if you actually look at the actual statistics and not the crap that they post online, which is usually fake news, if you dive deeper into these things, Mexico, they're actually safer than most places in the United States. And the United States is pretty far down on the safety index. I think we're in the 130s right now. And that's pretty bad if you think about it. Now, yes, if you're in a rural area like I am, it's safe for the most part. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm just completely oblivious to everything that's going on around me. I'm still paying attention to things. But if Mexico was that dangerous, nobody would be going there. Okay, so you got to use common sense, people, and don't freak out because you read one headline or one person, ends up having something bad happen to them when they're down there and they're from this country or whatever, and then you blame it on the whole entire country. You don't do that here. Nobody does that here, so don't do it down there to them. And I mean, there's places I would not go in Chicago. Okay, there's places I wouldn't go in Chicago in broad daylight and put gas in my car. Okay, so just use common sense with that. And I appreciate your comments, but you saying that Mexico is dangerous or this is bad or that's bad. If I listened to what everybody else said, I would never leave my house. Okay, everybody has to make their own decisions and do their own things. And I'm not going into this blind. I've been doing research on this for well over a year now. So when I make my decision, I'll run with it. But Spain is a good contender as well because their requirements to get a non-lucrative, meaning non-working visa over there are pretty low per se. And you get that for a year, and then you can reapply for 2 years, meaning you'd have to have twice their amount. And I think it's like 28,000 euros right now, which is like, I think 32,000 US dollars. So I might just go that route and go hang out there for a while. I don't know. Portugal is, of course, on my list. So I'm not really sure if I want to keep working. Obviously, if I go to Mexico, I won't have a choice. I'll have to keep working because they've raised their requirements so high that even people that could afford it before could not. And I'm not one of those people that can get in on that new scheme they've got going on where if you had been in Mexico at least once between, I think it was 2015 and 2022, and your whatever that thing is, if the FIM or something like that has expired or whatever, you can actually get your temporary residence visa, and that's really cool. Fortunately, I've never been to Mexico. I've been to Costa Rica, so we'll have to see how that goes. And of course, me going overseas involves plane travel, and then that would be, something I'd have to have somebody come with me because of the 2 cats, and then they have to pass their health certificates and there's just all these moving parts, so I have to think carefully about all of these things. So anyways, that's my update. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So what I'm reading right now is one of my favorite Miss Marple mysteries by Agatha Christie. It's a Caribbean mystery. So this is just a paperback that I have. I bought that used a long time ago. And some of these I've read many, many years ago, and I'm just going back through and reading them now. And I just find them so enjoyable. I love doing that. And then the other thing that I want to do is read a poem about cats for those of you that are cat lovers. It's just a cool poem but it's by Baudelaire, and I absolutely love it. So here we go. The cat. Come here, kitty, sheathe your claws. Lie on my loving heart and let me sink into your eyes of agate fused with steel. When my fingers freely caress your head and supple spine, and my hand thrills to the touch of your electric fur, my mistress comes to mind, her gaze, cold and deep as yours, my pet, is like a stab of pain, and from head to heels, a subtle scent, a dangerous perfume, rises from her brown flesh. So that's just one of my favorite poems. He was a big cat lover, cat enthusiast. He loves cat. He loved cats more than he actually liked human beings, which is, I think, hilarious. But he's a different kind of a poet, and you either like him or you don't like him. But I like to open my mind up to all sorts of different things, and I just love poetry, especially poetry from years and decades and centuries gone by. So there you have it. And if anybody wants to share what they're reading right now, that would be super cool. And we're going to do more updates on this. I think it's been a couple of weeks since my last video, but again, it was just this huge whirlwind. I just made the decision, put the house on the market, get the realtor, get the photographer out here, put it on the market, showing, and come back for a second showing, and then offers, and just all these things. So it's been kind of crazy around here, and just trying to keep a level head on this and not get stressed out. And I've got notes everywhere, lists of things I've got to do, and check them off as I go, so I make sure I have all my bases covered. So anyways, what are you guys reading? What are you guys up to? Let's have some good conversations. And yes, I am working diligently on my private coaching website that I want to do. It's just that I want to make sure I put something together that's going to be super valuable and useful for people, and make it so anybody can, do this from anywhere that they're at in the world, and all of the different things that I want to offer and stuff like that. So there's a lot of thought that needs to go into that, and it does take time. I've got a lot of notes on that and all of that fun stuff. So anyways, there you go. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and click the bell notification if you want to get notified when I drop new videos. Let's enjoy the day, everyone. And you may or may not like Woody Allen, but there's a book that I've been going through. Woody Allen, it's called Feathers. I do like Woody Allen, maybe not as in his private personal life. I don't care for those types of things, but the guy's a great writer, a great director, and there's no denying that. So you can agree or not agree with me. But I rewatched Cafe Society. Hadn't watched it since it came out in 2016, where I did go see it at the theater and just had a wonderful time. And I like any of those, takes place back in the 20s, 30s kind of movies. And there's a really good quote in the movie, and everybody knows this quote, but he tacked on to it. So it's live your life like each day. Live each day like it's its last, because one day you'll be right. That's what he tacked on to it, and I love that. And that's kind of like the mantra I'm trying to use, being as in live each day like it's your last, and get as much out of it as possible, and stop stressing about all of the things that are not in our control right now. And that's a lot of things, but there's things within us and in our immediate vicinity that we can control. And I try to keep the positive side of things, and I've even backed off from more of the watching of things that are going on in the world, just so I can concentrate on where I need to go, okay? Because I can't control what's going on overseas in these different situations. I have no control over that stuff, and I don't want to lose sleep over it. So I have to just stay focused and zoned in on where I want to go. And it just brings me better peace of mind. And yes, it's not easy to do. It takes a lot of work to do that. But it's up to us. It's up to you to do those types of things and to change your life, because we all have free will. We all have choice. So let's make the right choices. Love you guys so much, and have a wonderful week wherever you are in the world. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.